If we go to Cheltenham for the 1240, good soft, good in places, murky day, bit of drizzle as well at Cheltenham today. This is the Triumph Trial. One had been backed early for Joseph O'Brien, Fakir, DOUDAIRIES, who is now 4-1, just eased off. 6-4 then, Ajali. Our power is 6-1, it's 7-1, and bigger the rest.
Welcome back to Cheltenham, paddock side for the first on Festival Trials Day, and a significant downturn in the weather as well, unfortunately. The rain that was forecast, 2 to 3 mil at the estimate, has set in and it continues to be quite breezy. Let's have a look at a few of the key contenders in the opening race. And one interesting horse is the first one we can have a look at with the rug still on. Now, this is the French import now with the Paul Nicholls yard, Dogon. Difficult to be dogmatic about his appearance. He's had 2 handlers since he came into the parade ring. Looks a keen-going type. Quite athletic, I think, in as much as we can see him anyway. But until he gets the rug off, it's going to be hard to judge his overall level of fitness. Let's go back over to the far side of the parade ring. In a moment, swinging round to the left, we will be able to pick up horse number 6. And this, therefore, is going to be FUKUTO, a French import now in the care of David Bridgewater, a relatively expensive purchase. I thought he probably ended up having quite a hard race in deep ground at Sandown at the turn of the year. They were finishing legless in that race, and the horse who finished behind him there, Paddy the Chef, didn't do an awful lot for the form in an ordinary handicap at Warwick earlier in the week. That's number 6 for FUKUTO. Now let's have a look at 7, Our Power. He's quite a rangy looking individual, stayed 1.5 miles on the flat and has shown a fair level of form already over hurdles. He's got an official mark of 135. Big day for potentially for Alan King. 8, PAGERO, French bred, now making his debut for John O'Neill. Useful at his best on the flat in France. Interesting to see how he gets on here. Let's have a quick look at number 4, one of 2 Joseph O'Brien runners, Fakir DOUDAIRIES. His stablemate Fine Brunello is in behind him. And then appearing up on the left of the camera, we've got number 2, Nelson River, who only had a handful of starts on the flat. He's open to further progression still over hurdles. He's got a bit of a penalty to carry here. He's got a £3 penalty. Ajali, remember, has got the £5 penalty, and he's the next one we can have a look at, horse number 1. He's the second one of a pair approaching us now. Runner-up in the finale hurdle at Chepstow on Welsh Grand National Day. Good-looking individual as well, just his 3rd start for champion trainer Nicky Henderson. So that's the runners in the opening race. We kick off with the juveniles.
Oh, it is a bit wet at Cheltenham, isn't it? Rain on the lens we could see there. Ajali is 6-4, Fakir DOUDAIRIES staying at 4-1. 8's touch 13-2, now 7's Nelson River. Our power is 6-1. On the drift is Protektorat out to 9-1, 14-1, and bigger the rest. 11-8 the favourite, Ajali.
Protektorat is the one that we didn't pick up in the paddock, and there he is on his way to post. He's a maiden as yet. He was second in a toy on his debut, and then he was favourite when he unseated here behind Nelson River.
Yeah, it was a listed event as well that he was second in France. Promising run that. He travelled really well through the race, wasn't given a hard time to finish second, and like you say, he was well backed ahead of that British debut last time out. Just lost his back legs on landing at the 4th flight of hurdles and shipped the rider. He did actually come home in front, but he was loose at the time.
So that is Protektorat down at the start. Let's discuss Ajali, shall we? He has a mark of 147 that he earned at Market Raisin on his UK debut, and then he went on to finish a narrow and battling second behind Keldestan in the Grade 1 at Chepstow. Yeah,
I think he didn't do anything wrong that day. He did look like he was going to pick up Keldestan, but Keldestan just outslugged him, really. He didn't out-battle him, I don't think. Ajali did nothing wrong himself. He kept running all the way to the line, was well clear of the rest, and he's got plenty of experience. His jumping's pretty slick. I think he'll be versatile with regards ground, and he looks to have a good attitude. So he sets the standard, and he deserves, I think, to be a short price favourite.
And the vibes were that he's meant to be at the forefront of the Simon Monier and Isaac Suede bunch of juveniles. It's the division that they tend to be strong in.
It is, and with a BHA mark of 147, which is, it's probably high enough, but he's kind of, you know, you wouldn't want to see him running in a handicap off it, but he's got the Grade 1 form, hasn't he? He was impressive at Market Raisin, and you'd like to think, obviously, that he would be in the upper echelons of that pecking order.
Joseph O'Brien has sent 2 horses over. Fakir is the one that is most fancied. This horse used to be with Guy Chirel and has won in deepish ground at Cork on his sole start.
Yeah, that form's untested really, but the third horse has been beaten a couple of times. We haven't had that many horses run out of the race, but he did everything right. He was professional in the way that he travelled. He found a lot and stretched nicely clear for a pretty authoritative win. So clearly there's plenty of room for improvement with him. The other Joseph O'Brien horse is Fine Brunello, who's a national hunt bred, and you can see looking at him in the flesh, he's quite a big, backward, weak-looking horse at this stage of his career.
And the other horse that runs for JP McManus is PAGERO, who is making his national hunt debut here.
Yeah, good level of form on the flat in France. He won a couple, then wasn't beaten that far in a listed event, but obviously a big task for him stepping into this grade straight, first time over hurdles. Nelson Rivers, the one that came bounding up the hill here to win at the last meeting. That was a really likeable performance from a very progressive horse. Now, I think he's got more on his plate in a deeper race today, but he tries hard and he very much is going the right way. Just to touch on a couple of the others, Our Power probably has plenty of improvement to find, I think. I thought to some extent he had his limitations exposed at Exeter, and maybe the Newbury race that he won last time out wasn't the strongest.
What do you make of Paul Nicholls' new recruit, Dogon rather than Dogon, I think we'll go with?
Dogon, yeah, he's a nice looking horse, took well to hurdling in France, went over fences and won over fences in France. I suspect he's a horse with a bright future, plenty of ability, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was competitive.
Interesting to see who makes the running here.
Yeah, I mean the horses that obviously they're still establishing a run style really at very early stages of their hurdling careers. I suspect if you're on one of the more experienced ones, you might want to make use of that and be positive.
Absolutely. So our opening race here on Trials Day is the JCB Triumph Hurdle Trial. It's a juvenile, a grade 2 in its own right, known to you and I of course as the Finesse. They're about to turn and come towards the starter who has his flag up. So let's join Ian Bartlett, he has the call.
Thanks, Lydia. Hi, everybody. Rain has just stopped here for the opener. Coming forward, they're off. They race away. Then they have 8 flights of hurdles to jump here. It's the JCB Triumph Trial Juvenile Hurdle, and there's about 5 of them in line as they race down to number 1. It may just be the light blue of Dogon with Fakir in the orange colours, and the favourite on the right there, Adjali, is right with them as they all successfully clear number 1. Protectorat's on the left in the red jacket. The extreme right then is FUKUTO. The mauve sleeves. In behind him is Our Power, another one with a white face, green and white checks on the sleeves for Tom Cannon. Nelson Rivers right in the centre, purple jacket for Harry Bannister, and with him Dogon, the light blue, drops into mid-division at this stage as they move down towards flight number 2. Barry Geraghty, a white cap, Fine Brunello towards the left, is just ahead of PAGERO, green and white cap for Richard McLaren, who was the back marker of the 9 runners who are about to make the turn away towards the far side now. And the early strides is only going to be 6, 7, 8 lengths between them. They're quite well bunched, but it is the favourite at Charlie, and Daryl Jacob will make the run around the turn on towards flight number 3 with a fractional lead. Orange colours for JJ Slevin on Fakir Duderie running in second, and the red jacket then is Harry Skelton on board Protectorate, who shows 3 off the rails and just about in third place. Drops to be about 2 lengths behind the leading duo. They come now towards flight number 3. Dogon in the light blues right in behind them, jumps up on the outside of Our Power, white, blue, green and red colours for Tom Cannon. Behind these is Nelson River, moved up a couple of lengths behind the leaders, and then comes Fine Brunello. PAGERO is next, and as they run on towards number 4, FUKUTO has dropped to be fractionally the back marker. Getting over it, FUKUTO in fact was better there than PAGERO and passed him. They move on towards number 5, running up towards the top of the hill. Charlie continues to have the advantage. Fakir Duderie is about a half length behind in second place. They're all over it okay. Protectorate in the red continues to run close to these. The light blue of Dogon on Briary Frost is next, and then comes Fine Brunello, 5th position now, white cap around the outer. More towards the running rail is Our Power. Behind these, Nelson River, PAGERO together. FUKUTO's just in behind those. He's struggling a little bit at the rear of the field as they come to 3 from the finish, right up the top of the hill. Adjali asked for a big leap, got over it well. PAGERO rather clambered over it, 2 from the rear of the field. Fakir Duderie, though, in the orange has come through to join Adjali. Protectorate in red's just a length off them in 3rd position. Our Power continues to hold 4th, 2 lengths off those. He's about a neck ahead then of Fine Brunello. PAGERO behind these. Nelson River, the gap behind him of 5 lengths. Dogon in the light blue is rapidly dropping jumping back through the field. FUKUTO is the only one behind him, but not for much longer. He's just going up on the inner of him. Downhill they come. We've got a new leader here. Fakir Doudairies has gone through to lead. Protectorate in red in second place. Coming into third, Fine Brunello alongside Ajali, who at this stage has dropped from first to third as they jump the second last. Our Power is in behind him. PAGERO behind those. Nelson River trying to plug on, and then comes PAGERO. They're clear from FUKUTO, and a big gap to Dogon, but they're on the run towards the home turn with one to jump. Fakir Doudairies is on here by 4 or 5 lengths moving into the home straight. Second position on the left is Fine Brunello, going on narrowly to Ajali back in third. Protectorate behind these. Long run down towards the last on the right. Fakir Doudairies in front by 3 to 4 lengths. Fine Brunello and Ajali are both attempting to close, but they've got ground to make on him. Our Power is in fourth. Fakir Doudairies at the last. Lovely leap. Oh, he landed by 7 or 8 lengths there. That has definitely settled this. Fine Brunello at the moment sits second to Ajali. Our Power is running on, but up the hill. JJ Slevin on Fakir Doudairies is now 10 clear, ridden out towards the line, but he is a very impressive winner of this JCB Triumph Trial. Fakir Doudairies easily. Fine Brunello in second, Ajali in third, and Our Power ran fourth.
At last, we've seen an impressive performance from the juveniles over here. Fakir Doudairies has won at 4-1 for Joseph O'Brien, JJ Slevin on board. A wide margin success. He took it up before the second last, and he just went further clear of the rest of the field. A bunch for second, third and fourth, headed by his stable companion Fine Brunello, with Barry Geraghty on board. Third was Ajali for Darryl Jacob and Nicky Henderson, and fourth was Our Power for Tom Cannon and Alan King. But Fakir Doudairies is a wide margin winner, Martin.
Yeah, it's a wildly impressive performance from him. Always up with what looked a fairly strong pace. He took Ajali out of his comfort zone a long way from home, was always travelling and jumping well, and then once he's been put under pressure, stronger pressure, going to this final flight of hurdles, he just keeps on pouring it on all the way up the hill. And I would say that this is certainly the standard-setting performance from a juvenile hurdler that we've seen in Britain so far this season. Definitely. And we may well have to revisit that thought that Joseph has got a better one at home.
Absolutely. The spring juvenile at the Dublin Racing Festival in a week's time is going to be very, very interesting. Jonathan, did you time this first race?
I did, Lydia.
And?
It's 4 minutes 6 and change. That's 12 seconds outside standard, but I think you'd allow about 6 seconds for the bends being out, because it's extra 88 yards. So if you called it 4 minutes, that's what they're saying. Good to soft, good in places.
Okay. So this is the replay, and in the early stages it's Ajali in front, and as Martin was saying, Fakir Doudairies is always towards the fore. He's settled quite nicely. If anything, he's just racing a shade enthusiastically. Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's committed, not committed for home, but he's gone past the favourite quite comfortably, 3/4 of a mile from home, and after that it's plain sailing, isn't it?
There's bits and bobs of promise in the long term. Out the back, PAGERO has shown something despite making mistakes early. Yeah,
he needed the experience and probably needed the run, didn't he? But if you watch him to a point in the back straight, he does stay in touch with them and travels quite nicely for a long way. He doesn't end up having that hard a race. A couple of disappointments. FUKUTO was labouring a long way out. We can see him already under pressure, and Dogon would be the other one as well, who was beaten quite a long way from home.
Yeah, he's been a little bit keen in the early stages. That possibly hasn't helped him, but he weakens very, very quickly. Like, so they just go snap with him. Also travelling well at this point in the red colours on the outside, made the mistake there. That's Protectorate.
I thought he was going to play a proper hand in the finish when they were coming down the hill. At least he's got ground.
He has, yeah. At this point, Nelson River is under pressure as well, and he tries to respond. Our Power is still with them.
It looks just a case with Nelson River of this is a better race, and he's just, you know, he got outpaced at one point in the last race that he won. You know, he's got better horses in front of him today, and he plugged on and tried, but he just could never lay a glove, and he's been beaten a long way in the end. Protectorate, I think, is the right horse to mention. We see these races at Cheltenham, and we will revisit them with the Fred Winter in mind in this particular case, and I think Protectorate is probably the one that you'd take out, or I would take out, with an eye on maybe that race being a plan for him. Yeah,
I can see that. Interesting performance from him. He's run pretty well weak and late. Ajali just reached for the third last and sort of dived at it when asked.
He did, yeah. He took a chance, didn't he? But I don't think it made a difference in the end. He managed to stay upright, didn't really lose too much ground, and he was just under pressure. And it looked as if the winner had his measure a fair way out. He stayed within sort of 2 or 3 lengths, but you always felt that Daryl Jacob was just wanting to push the button without actually doing it, and then he just got outpaced.
Whereas Fine Brunello, the stable companion, the first colours of JP Banners, has run a very promising race.
Yes, he has, and the fact that he sent home the first and second sort of rather bodes well for the Irish hopes in the Triumph Hurdle, doesn't it? It's bound to. I mean, this